I have a testimony that relates to the rapture. It's actually 5 different testimonies that I put together. I'll try to make it brief, but I think it'll be worth it to listen to the end because it's remarkable stuff. It's 2 dreams, 1 vision that my young child had, and 2 real-life experiences. And one of the dreams I had was after fasting for 4 days, and then I prayed and asked the Lord, you can use me if you want to, and then I got this dream. And this dream was about a girl that I used to be together with. We were even engaged and lived together about 20 years ago. And I heard not that long ago that she was actually dead from doing drugs. She had left her family, her young children, went off with some junkie and died from doing drugs. But in this dream, she was alive, and I saw her on the street just outside of where we lived, and I was amazed. And I asked her, aren't you dead? And she said, no, I'm alive. I'm not dead. She took my hand, and we walked away like the best of friends, and it was a euphoric moment, and she looked as young and fresh as ever, really healthy. And she said, I wanted to show you something. And we walked for a very, very, very short walk. Not even a block. Made a turn and went into this house. It was like a rental apartment building, and there was a few steps down. There were like a shared space where you could rent to have parties and stuff like that. And there was packed with people. It was very modest facility. There was no food on the tables yet. It was like modest kind of people. It was in the middle of the day, but the excitement was really amazing. Something amazing was about to happen. Excitement that I've never really seen before. And it was packed, but I was amazed to see that there was a seat for me and for this girl. We sat down. There was even 1 vacant spot left beside me. Like it was reserved for someone. It felt. And I asked her, what kind of party is this? And she said, it's a wedding. And I said, who's getting married? And she said, he's coming soon. The bridegroom is coming soon. And that's when I woke up, and I immediately felt that I understood the dream completely, that it was about the imminent return of the Lord, and that the dead in Christ shall rise first, like she had been one of those. Now, the dream felt so real that I started to doubt that she actually was dead when I woke up. I started researching the internet, obituaries, news articles, social media accounts. I couldn't find anything about her being dead. So I actually had to contact my brother, who was the one who gave me the information that she was dead, and say, is she really dead? And he confirmed, yeah, she is dead. It took me a number of weeks to get the courage to contact her husband, which is someone I really don't know. I've met him like 20 years ago. But I contacted him to tell him about the dream and what I thought it meant. And for him, it was a huge confirmation, because he have had a very similar dream. And actually this dream that we both had, and the fact that he had the kids left, that was really the only thing that kept him going in this world, he said. So it was a huge confirmation and made a huge impact for both him and me. And he was certain that she was in heaven. And the thing is that she actually became dependent on drugs from the medical establishment after some injury, and she also had some type of brain tumor or something, so that made her kind of a little bit nuts. So I think she was actually a victim. So I had another dream in November 5, I think it was, and normally I never remember dreams. To me, it's just like kind of gibberish, but this dream I remembered very, very, very many details completely. So it was something that was very, very different to what I'm used to. And this dream came after doing 3 days of fasting and asking the Lord, you can use me if you want to. And I got this dream. And this dream was similar in the kind. It was me and my ex-wife, and we were going to my grandmother's house. My grandmother has been dead for 20 years, and she, for some reason, the house was still left. It was empty, it was vacant. I had an opportunity maybe to move in there. I was so happy because I told my ex-wife, what do you think, me and my son, we can move in this house, maybe we can take care of grandmother because she's been gone for like many years and now she's apparently coming back, maybe she's old, I can take care of her in this nice house and we can live together there, and this would be a house that would be very close to where my ex-wife lives. It was yesterday fantastic opportunity. We were really happy about it. And we went for a walk and we held hands like the best of friends. And it was this euphoric moment, a bliss that I have never felt. And then I'm not going to go into all the details because it's a very long dream. But what happened is we get separated. And the dream relates to having to take the mark of the beast to be able to buy food. And we get separated. Here, and it's a just most deep sorrow I have ever felt. That this bliss just turned to immense sorrow when I realized that we were gonna get separated here for that period of time. And I wake up and I understand exactly what it's about. The house that my grandmother had it's like the mansion, like in heaven. It's written about. My grandmother is the dead in Christ that will rise first. It was crystal clear. And it happened actually the day after a day we call Alla helgons dag in Sweden, which is All Saints Day. It's the day where we celebrate our dead ones, our loved ones. And my grandmother was really the most gentle, kind, meek person that I've met, and the only person ever who really talked about God or Jesus and the Bible and these kind of things. It was quite remarkable. It took the whole day to digest the dream, and I had to go get some candles and go and get to her grave to put it there. It was actually the first time I did something like that. So it was also on a specific date. This came after 3 days of fasting. Now, I also like to tell about a vision that my son had. He got around Christmas time a sketchbook. He made sketches, portraits of many guests we had at the family dinner, and also about some family members who were not present. And then he concluded it with making one more portrait, and he said, "You know who this guy is?" And so it was Jesus. So I said, "Yeah, that's Jesus, right?" Yeah, he had painted Jesus with wings. And at bedtime, I asked him, where did he got this idea to paint Jesus with wings? Have you ever seen an image like that? No, he said, never seen anything like that. So I asked him, how did he get that idea? He said that the Lord puts image in his mind. The Lord talks to him through images, he said. He has a strong connection and belief in God, but we haven't really talked about, how Christ rose on the third day, or that he might come back or something like that. And we live in the most secular country in the world. There's nobody in the family or in the preschool or anything that talks about anything that has to do with God. But I asked him then, what do you mean he has wings? Did he fly straight up? No, he's flying kind of towards us, he said. So I said, have you ever heard anything that the Lord might come back? No, I never heard anything about that. Not a word. I have no idea about that, he said. So then I said, can you maybe then see if you can get an image like you got about that thing? Sure, he said. I prayed. He meditated just for a few seconds, and he said, I got something. I got an image. Okay, what is it? It is a word, he said. Not a verse, a word, a single word. It's from your old book there, your old Bible there. He meant have an old, very, very thick, 150 years old rustic Bible that I had for decoration. Very old. In an old Bible like that, he said, there's a word. And it was a little bit too late. I didn't want to push it. So I asked him the following day, can you describe that word? And he said, no, I can't describe it. I can't read it. So I was really disappointed because I knew he was 5 at the time, but he was a really good reader already. So you can't read it now. So how many letters were there? There were 6 letters, he said. And I was disappointed because I was thinking, of course, about the rapture, and that is 7 letters. Okay, 6 letters, okay. And he couldn't read it, he said. So I tried to ask for certain letters. And both in the English, Swedish, and Greek word, when it's written in Latin characters, we have, for example, the letter R. In Rapture, uppryckelsen, and arpaso. He said there was no R. And then I asked for a P, which also is present in those words. There was no P, he said. And then I asked him for a U. He said, no, there's no U. I said, are you really sure? Yeah, maybe, he said. Maybe more like kind of a W. I said, W? That's a very rare letter. No, maybe not. No, not really, he said. Is there any other letter that you can read? Maybe like an Ä, which is a Swedish A with 2 dots. Often when you do it in handwriting, become like 2 short streaks over the A. And there's no word really with W and A. I can't think of any word that has those. And he said, I can't read it. It's not signs, he says, like how the evil people write with signs. It's not like that, it's real letters. And repeated that several times. It's not how the evil people write with signs, it's real letters, but I can't read them. That was interesting. And I asked him, are you really telling me the truth? This is serious stuff, you can't make this up. No, I'm not making this up, he said. So much later, more than a month later, I actually saw that if you look at the ancient Greek writing of the word arpaso, it was a very close description what he gave. It's a letter with 6, a word with 6 letters. It's something that he cannot read. And the only letters that might make any sense, it's something that is similar to a W when you think about the letter U. And it's something that might be similar to a letter Ä, but not really a good match for any of them. And so I actually asked him several months later, I showed him this word and I said, do you remember this vision you got? Do you think it was this word? And he said, yeah, I think that was that word, but not written like you show me on like computer typing, but written like in the old, like in an old book, like different style than what the computer would produce. So he kind of confirmed that it was this word, arpaso, meaning the rapture. Now I have 2 real-life experiences that I would like to mention. On April 8th,